Hello everyone, this is the new LEGO Star Wars 2018 Darth Vader buildable figure, and the thumbnail for this video was not edited, was not an exaggeration, was not a camera trick, was not clickbait. This figure is really tall. It is definitely not a simple re-release of the last one that we got from this series, and it doesn't just have a couple updated prints either. LEGO has been really good about producing helmeted heads for these figures, and I'm certain that this is the most accurate yet. It looks pretty spot on proportion-wise, and it hides the best feature yet. You can remove most of it to reveal the face underneath. Now, it's not entirely ideal there. It does follow their slightly sharpened geometric comic style, but being able to do that is something entirely new. It does not have the two pieces that you can remove independently, but this is a big improvement nonetheless, or at least an upgrade in terms of functionality. It still looks great from the outside with the full helmet on. You've got extra paint applications inside of there. You've got a lot of detail to the scars on the head. Those go all the way around as well. Goes all the way back. All the way back here. And the detailing around the base, around the neck, is pretty significant as well, with not just simple molding, but some pretty fine stuff with the different textures. Those small linear little appliques that they added on to the actual prop. All of that is replicated here. All of that. So that's a definite step up in what you get from what we had before. The only one thing that's still a little bit off here is that you get a little bit of gap under the neck depending upon the angle at which you view this. So you can see the gap on either side. It has a normal joint underneath there, ball joint, so you can angle this in all kinds of different ways. But you know, with the cape trying to fall down with gravity, trying to be nice and low, not every pose looks perfect. Now, speaking of the cape, they give you two pieces. So one very large cloth piece here, and it has a slightly different texture on the inside than the out. That's nothing particularly new, but you also have this lower, almost skirt-like piece as well, which is separately attached. The way they get all of the height out of this figure is through a combination of using extra long bone pieces and giving extra thickness to those by extending them forward and back before applying the armor add-on parts, including these printed upper legs, or the thighs there, unprinted lowers. You got what used to be used as fronts of shins and also thighs in some cases, used on the back here to give you a little bit of extra coverage. You still have open skeletons on the side, but all that gets covered up by the cape. And then behind all of this body, there's a pretty good, or inside of it, there's a pretty good build within there. This does have the action feature. Let me just demonstrate that quickly. The standard one. Nothing particularly new there, but it has the right amount of friction, so it's not too difficult to bring this up and down, but you can still pose it holding the arm straight out, even with the lightsaber there, so it's not going to fall down due to gravity. Printed piece right there. And yeah, just the interior also has a lot of bulking up around the outside with the addition of these extra 4 Technic panels, 2 on either side. So the larger ones back here, smaller ones towards the front, just filling in some of the gaps. That's a printed piece right there. There's also a printed piece on the other side here. This is printed, it's just added into the center, and of course they generally do very well with these main body pieces. One thing that's not too well bulked up here is the area beneath the shoulders, so it just gets a little bit thin right in there. Notice that the pauldron shoulder armor pieces are able to just move out of the way of the arms with no sweat, with no fight behind them. They actually use the tan colored axle pins, which have minimal friction in them. It's intended to be no friction, so they're just falling with gravity and trying to be as low as possible at all times. It actually works out much better than I expected, and it avoids the use of an ugly bright blue piece right there. Most of the mechanism is pretty well hidden away in the entire model. Again, by default, everything is like this. I feel like the body feels or looks still a little bit on the thin side. Could have been bulked up just a little bit more, especially I guess just in this area is the main area to me that needs a little bit more. But speaking of that area there, see those parts? Those are bushings, full-size Technic bushings in black. There are 9 of these included in this set. 8 official plus 1 spare left over that you're looking at right now. These were only produced in black in the short period between 2002 and 2005 and have not been seen since then. So it's been 12 years, and I think that a lot of custom builders will really appreciate being able to get these again at a reasonable price at retail and brand new. It's going to bring their price down and just make them far more available and far more common. It's really useful to get pieces in colors that are not bright. Most of the time nowadays we get these in red. They are still made in gray as well, but red has become the most common color, which is not very useful. The lightsaber uses the same standard pieces that have been used in this line up to this point, but they've got the painted bright silver colored hilt pieces and then just a regular transparent red blade. Did I mention it's really tall? With the increase in size has come an increase in price, and this is now $40 US, which is a pretty penny to pay for a toy grade action figure. You know, this does look very good on display, but it's not a replica grade, collector grade type of thing that's intended to be somewhat movie accurate. You know, it's very obvious as soon as you look at it up close that it is made from these character and creature building system parts, with the bone parts and the shell pieces, especially around the legs and around the shoulders and the arms and everything. It's mostly the helmet that is pretty fantastic, and the body looks pretty good as well. But I know that as Lego prices continue to increase, and that increase outpaces inflation, and sets in general become smaller and more detailed, more and more people, especially who don't pay for their own toys, don't like to hear me complaining about prices. But I'm going to continue complaining about prices when I find them to be very expensive and very high. This is a lot of money to pay for this action figure. It's a really good one. The price has scaled with the size, but not directly. The last one was about an inch shorter than this, maybe an inch and a half shorter in normal poses at the most. But, you know, this costs 33% more. I'm also well aware that Lego products cost a lot more in other countries other than the United States, and I'm aware that that is not fair. However, that is not a valid reason for me to stop considering the prices of products that I'm reviewing in my reviews. Prices matter, value matters, and if something is overpriced or has gone up by a surprising amount in one country, doesn't make it any better or worse that it has gone up even more in another country. It's still expensive here, even if it's more expensive elsewhere. This is still 33% higher in price for about 10% more height. So no matter what, I will continue to do my best to bring you high quality reviews that cover the features of the products and give you both objective and subjective information. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'll talk to you again soon.